Aloha and welcome to Chemistry 1B, Spring 2021 at Woodlawn Community College. I'm your instructor, Mike Ferguson, and the purpose of this video, I just want to show you how this course works. So I have here the main Canvas page here, and I'm going to upload this video, so it's going to change the way this looks. And there's a picture of me. That is a panda that was taken, let's see here, 2 years ago in China. Or was it 3 years ago? I don't quite remember, to be honest. I think it's 2 years ago. But anyways, yeah, I paid $250 to meet a giant panda. They're not very soft, and they smell kind of like bamboo. It was a really cool experience, though. But they're not really, soft, cuddly playthings like you think they're actual bears. They feel more like horses if you're familiar with horses. If you've touched a horse before, kind of coarse fur. So get a hold of me. Email is the easiest way. But okay, so let's get in the course. So as you're navigating this course, you would start here, and you just go to the first task. Come on, internet. So the way you can navigate this, if you've never done Canvas before, you just hit these next buttons and going through. And if you, I would recommend you go through and you look at this first module. This is kind of the orientation stuff. You don't have to do everything. I have a video there introducing myself. Obviously, you can see me now, but I'm just kind of introducing myself. And here's another one. For the first week, I want you to do this, well, at least by Wednesday. Just create an introduction. And why is this important? Well, because, I mean, A of all, you notice that we're in a pandemic, right? And we're doing a lot of things online. But you know what? We're not going back. I mean, the pandemic will eventually end, but this type of online work is going to go on. So, and it's important that you learn about how to make people want to work with you. Maybe I'm doing a horrible job. Maybe you're watching this video like I'm dropping this class now. I hate this guy, and I hope that's not what I'm projecting. But hopefully, I'm projecting that I'm someone that wants to help you and I want to guide you through my class. That's what of course, I'm trying to project. But I mean, sometimes just like when you meet people, like, gosh, I can't stand this person. It's the same way online, right? People that you can tell, like, gee, I really want to work with this person. I can't wait to work with this person. Like, man, I don't like this person. I do not want to work with this person at all. So think about that when you're working on your introduction. Think, gosh, I really want people to want to work with me, because that's an example of something that's called a soft skill. And these are soft skills that we have to develop now that we're moving more to a virtual sort of environment. And I'd even say a virtual environment, if you look at my introduction, I live in Hawaii. Okay, so this video I'm recording, this is live from my kitchen table in the island of Maui. So so you're interacting with me, and I'm going to be in a different time zone than you. But I mean, when I was setting up this course, I was talking to Labster, and Labster is headquartered in Boston. Well, actually, they're headquartered in Europe, and we both thought it was funny that someone in Boston was talking to somebody in Hawaii about work that we're doing in California. So that's the world. That's the world right now. So think about that, and as you do it, also etiquette. So I have the rubric. I'm scrolling here on the rubric that shows you how it's going to be graded. And truth be told, this is going to be graded very lightly. And etiquette, that's proper etiquette for doing stuff online. And course syllabus, and I have a video with the syllabus as well. And here's the dates. I've already talked about these and some of my other things, but if you look at these pages here, it says when things are due and the course grades. Okay, student supports. Excuse me. So these are the different services that are available to you as a student. And a couple things I want to point out. So the food pantry. So I was at a conference in 2019 in Washington, D.C., and there it was disclosed that 30% of all college students have some sort of food insecurity. So that's a high amount. So if you feel like if you're hungry or unable to find food, you're not alone. And not only that, these are pre-pandemic numbers. So that was in 2019, and this is 2021. So who knows what the numbers are right now. Hopefully better, but I mean I doubt it with the economy that's been going on. So there's a food pantry. You can see there's no documentation. They'll that is of course if you live close to woodland, you can go and get that. And if you are personally, if you're feeling overly anxious or desperate in any way, I want you to reach out to me if you feel comfortable. Although I mentioned in some of my other videos, one of the disclaimers on that though is I am not an anonymous source, or I'm not a confidential. I guess that's the word, confidential. I'm not a confidential um, resource. So, by the federal government's definition, I'm a responsible person, meaning that I have to report things. So, if you report to me any type of uh, sexual or domestic violence, for instance, I have to report it. So, if you want to get around that, one of the things you can do is you can ask me for anonymous resources if you really want to talk to somebody about situations, sensitive situations, and tell me that you want to speak to a confidential or anonymous source, and I can work with you on that. Okay, so I'm not going to go through all these items here, but there is that in technology. Oh, I didn't list it on here. I meant to mention office hours. I'm going to use using Teams. So have the Teams up here. The way you get to Teams is you sign into your portal and you can hit the Office. And if you look at the left corner, you have these 9 dots. You can click these 9 dots and then you can find Teams. And then you will be brought to Teams. You can also download it on your computer. That will do the same thing. So that's how you get to office hours. I also have Zoom, but I'm trying out the Teams. Again, this is actually for your benefit because Teams is standard for many other places. So one of my sisters, she works at Marquette University, and they use Teams over there. For instance, they don't use Zoom. We can do Zoom as well. So, but I mean, possibilities are large. I have a professional license through Hawaii for Zoom. And okay, so this is the orientation. If you want to, if you're getting tired of clicking through all these things, you can click on this modules uh, tab. And so here is everything. So first thing to note, I had this bonus module. This is study skills. You don't have to do it. So this is completely optional. I just noticed sometimes students are having hard times with things. Hopefully, if you're in Chem 1B, you're a little bit more of a seasoned student, so you won't need this, but maybe you've also been out of school for a while and you're coming back. Here are some things. For some soft skills, I put note-taking skills, time management, and test taking. Of all those, maybe the one you should look at the most is test taking, but I also, if you are having trouble taking notes and also with time management. I also put those on there, especially with procrastination. So many people struggle with procrastination. So now let me move on to the content of the class. So you can see here on the modules I have, here's chapter 12, here's chapter 13, chapter 14, and so on. So I guess I can just I'll go through chapter 12. So this gives you, the front page gives you the learning outcomes, then what you do. So read the textbook, listen to the videos, do the homework. And you can do them in different orders if you want. So what I have here, I have blank notes here, and I have completed notes. So I have here, I have lectures. So I'm not going to hit play, but I have a lecture. And the notes that I use that in this lecture are here in this blank notes. So if you want, you can download the blank notes, and then on your tablet or on paper, you can write out what I do and follow along as a guided notes. And then you also have the completed notes at the end for what I do. And I have 3 lectures for chapter 12. Not every chapter has 3 lectures. Some have 2, some have 1, some have 4. So you can see I have the blank notes and the completed notes for each of those. You just click on these and they'll download. And then we get to the the homework. So and I have this in the wrong spot. No, I don't. Okay. Then we have the homework. And the goal here, so I have the goal, homework, and I have them in doing different chunks, basically the end of the month. So February 28th, March 31st, April 30th, but then the end of May is the final, so I have do the week before for the last three. The last three are not that difficult. There's not very much math in them. It's mostly conceptual. So the homework is on a Mastering Chemistry. So let me go ahead and click to Mastering Chemistry. And now the way that you create a mastering account, you go here, register, you go to a student, and then you need your instructor's course ID. Shoot, what is it? I have to log in to figure out what that is. Okay, I'll sign in to my account. So, and I'll have this out. It's Ferguson 09392. I'll just go ahead and copy that and sign out. So register. So you're a student, and you need your instructor's course ID, and you type it in. So, and see, it's right here, Chem 1B. That's my course or our course or whatever. And then you can sign in with your Pearson account, and you can create an account. You can, for the textbook access, you can buy it on this website, or you can buy it in the bookstore. Bookstore usually has a little bit of an overhead upcharge, but I know some people, for their financial aid, they require various things. So you can, if you want to, if you need through your financial aid, you need to go through the bookstore. That option is available for you too. So here's the course right here. And so some things to note, you have the assignments, you have the homework and the tests. And there are 4 tests and a final, and there are the different chapters, 12 through 26, but we don't do 23, 24, 25. And have the due dates as such, and they're listed on there. So do the homework when you're ready, take the test, read the textbook, and take the tests. And now we also have these Labster simulations, and I've linked them here. So I'm just going to go ahead. They work best either for Chrome or Firefox. I forget which one that let's say it's going to yell at me. Okay. If it's not yelling at me, it's working fine. It takes a while to load, just so you know. But these are fairly good. And although I know it's a virtual lab and you're missing some of the things, I remember in one of the labs they have a simulated spill of or sulfuric acid, and you clean it up using baking soda. Of course, what the simulation doesn't tell you is that there's a kind of sound when it reacts violently, and also there's a certain smell, the kind of sulfury, pungent smell with sulfuric acid, and similar to hydrochloric acid, but it's more kind of just burns your nose kind of a thing. But of course, I mean, that's the difference between a simulation and the actual lab. But I mean, it's working with what we have right now. So, okay, so there's the Labster simulations, and I have 16 up. And although I also have a discussion board, one of the outcomes for the class is to design a lab, and I want that to be done via the discussion forums. So, okay, so that's this for each chapter. So let me go back to the modules, and it's all up. Okay, so if you want to binge watch, instead of, if you're getting tired of binge watching Netflix, you can binge watch chemistry if you want. I wouldn't recommend to the last day to binge watch it, because this is a math class. There's a lot of math in here. It's really difficult to go through and pick up all that math at once. Usually you need some time to sink in. But I'm gonna be bugging you. I'll be watching you to see how you're doing the progress of class. So you can see I also in this course I have it also chunked 12, 13, 14. Uh, Hopefully it's a little easy. So one thing with Chem 1B, if you survive Chem 1A is a pretty tough class because there's a new mental model almost every day, right? You come to class and you're learning about atoms, and then you're talking about moles, and then you're doing balancing equations, and then all these things. And then when you get that sorted, then you got gas laws. Then you have thermodynamics, and then you have light and electricity and magnetism kind of stuff. And then you have Lewis structures and periodic trends. And it's just a new day is a new mental model. So there are fewer mental models in Gen Chem 2, but they're also harder. So for instance, you're going to be using some exponentials. The math is also harder in this class. So you have some, it's a lot of exponentials and logarithms, and also algebra 2 even. You can solve quadratics for a few cases. And some of it's calculus based, but I teach it not calculus based. So these ones it's a little bit of smooth coming in. Second section, this is going to be pretty tough. Chapter 15, this is the hardest chapter in the course because it's rates of reaction. It's calculus based. So, and calculus is not a prerequisite for this class, but I mean, rate is a derivative, so it's calculus. Of course, I teach it using the equations. I do some calculus proofs, but it's not taught with calculus in this textbook. So, and you don't need it, but I mean, the concept is still high level math. And then 16 and 17 students. Some students have a really hard time with acids and bases in chapter 17. So this one's going to be a killer. So set aside some time for that one. 18, 19, 20, it's all right. Thermo and electrochem. It's all pretty straightforward. Students tend to like these chapters a little bit more. Nuclear chem, students really like that. Organic chem and crystal field theory, transition metals. These ones here, actually all these are really highly conceptual, so there's not as much math. So it depends on your liking of that. So generally speaking, because of the transfer level of like transferring the skills, it's a little easier just to deal with some concepts than including them in math as far as a student learner is concerned. And so that's due May 23rd, and then the final is due May 28th. But I have these tests open, so if you want to, let's say you're going to go on a trip, and if we are allowed to travel by then, say you're leaving, you're going to spend the month of May, you're going to go to Taiwan. That's not a bad idea because Taiwan is completely open. You just have to sit through a 2-week quarantine. So you're going to go to Taiwan for the month of May. And then what are you going to do? Well, besides the fact you have 2 weeks of quarantine. Say you're in the hotel for 2 weeks quarantine. You're like, you know what? Then I'm on my 4th day and I've done all the homework. And I might as well take the final. Yeah, that's totally fine. That's totally fine. So this is all there, up and ready for you. And let me see, anything else? So I wanted to show you how to maneuver around the class. But I mean, when you're here, you can actually go through. If you want, you can just keep on clicking these next buttons, and it'll take you next right here. It'll take you through the entire class. But if you are tired of that, you can go hit the modules, and then you can jump around. So that way you don't have to spend 20 minutes. If you're jumping into the class, and you have to spend 20 minutes going through. Oh, and I will be communicating twice a week with announcements. So that's another thing about this class. So. And I think I've covered the rest of the stuff in my other videos. But if you have any questions, please do not hesitate to ask. I'm here to help. And once again, welcome to the class, and I'm looking forward to the semester. Aloha for now.